All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going deep on something that might surprise you, something you might think is, well, let's just say for a more mature audience, dentures.
Yeah,
But trust me, there's a lot more to dentures than meets the eye.
that's right.
We've got a ton of research here, historical tidbits, even some wild trends to unpack.
You know, it's fascinating.
What's that?
Dentures are way more common than most people think. We're not just talking about grandma and grandpa here.
Oh, really? So hit me with some numbers. How widespread are we talking?
Get this. In 2020 alone, 41 million Americans used dentures.
Oh,
That's a lot of folks relying on them, and that's just the U.S.
wow. That is a lot more than I would have guessed. So dentures aren't just a senior citizen thing then.
Definitely not. We'll get into the reasons behind tooth loss a bit later, but the big takeaway is that dental health issues, they can affect anyone at any age.
Interesting. All right, well, I'm ready to have some assumptions challenged. Now, dentures haven't always been what they are today, right? What's the story there?
Oh, the history of dentures. It's a wild ride, let me tell you. Imagine this. Dentures date back to 700 BC. The Etruscans were crafting them from animal and even, get this, human teeth.
Whoa, human teeth. That's kind of creepy to think about. Talk about recycling though, right?
Exactly. You got to admire the resourcefulness, right?
Yeah.
Over the centuries, materials and techniques, they evolved. We went from those early dentures to ones made of porcelain, gold, even ivory from elephants, hippos, walruses.
Okay, now that's just wild. Ivory dentures. Can't even imagine what that must have been like. So I'm guessing porcelain was probably pretty fragile and gold, while durable, must have been super expensive, right?
You're right on the money there. Each material had its pros and cons. Porcelain was indeed delicate, gold was a luxury few could afford, and ivory, as strange as it sounds now, was actually a pretty accessible and workable material back then.
Wow, that's fascinating. So when did things start to resemble the dentures we know today?
Well, a major turning point was the 1850s with the introduction of vulcanite, kind of a hardened rubber.
Vulcanite, huh? Not familiar with that one.
It's basically a precursor to the materials we use now. Vulcanite revolutionized dentures, making them more realistic, durable, and, importantly, affordable for more people. It was a game changer.
So that's when dentures started becoming more accessible to the average person.
Exactly. And then, in the 20th century, along came acrylic and plastic. These further improved comfort and gave dentures that lifelike appearance we're used to seeing. It's fascinating how material science has impacted something as personal as our teeth.
Absolutely. I mean, we've come a long way from those early, let's just say, rustic dentures. But let's shift gears a bit. Why are dentures so common in the first place?
Well, the answer lies in tooth loss, and unfortunately, it's way more common than most people realize.
Okay, give me the hard truth. Just how common is tooth loss?
Are you ready for this? 36 million Americans, that's a huge number, have no teeth at all. And if you factor in folks missing at least one tooth, that number jumps to a staggering 120 million.
Whoa, that is a lot. I had no idea it was that widespread.
It really highlights the importance of dental care, doesn't it? And this isn't just an American issue, this is a global one.
Yeah, I bet. I'm guessing age plays a big factor in tooth loss.
Sadly, yes. It's a harsh reality that 2 out of 3 elderly people are completely toothless.
That's heartbreaking, honestly. It makes you think about the challenges so many seniors face, especially those without access to good dental care.
Absolutely. Access to affordable dental care is a huge issue, particularly for the most vulnerable folks.
For sure. All right, so we've established that tooth loss is more common than we might think, especially among older folks. But I have a feeling you're about to shatter a stereotype for me. It's not just about grandma and grandpa needing dentures, right?
You're catching on. Time to bust that myth wide open. You see, tooth loss can happen at any age. There are tons of factors at play. It's not just age. You've got accidents, sports injuries, even genetics.
So you're telling me there are young people out there rocking dentures?
You bet. Almost 1 billion people worldwide have experienced dental trauma, and that includes a significant percentage of children. 20% of kids under 12 have had some kind of dental trauma.
Wow, never would have guessed that. So dentures aren't just about age. It sounds like they're a much more widespread solution than we give them credit for.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that dental health is important for everyone, regardless of age. And for some, young or old, dentures are the best option for restoring their smile and their quality of life.
All right, so we've covered the history, the prevalence, busted some myths along the way. But let's get down to brass tacks. If someone is considering dentures, what's the financial reality? How much do these things actually cost?
That's a great question, and it's not a simple answer. The cost of dentures can vary wildly depending on a few key factors.
Yeah.
The type of denture, materials used, the complexity of the case, even the dentist's expertise.
Okay, so give me a ballpark. What are we looking at?
Well, on the lower end, you might find partials starting around $2,000. But for a full mouth solution like all-on-4, you could be looking at upwards of $55,000.
$55,000. Okay, clearly there's a lot more to this cost breakdown than I initially thought. All on four, I'm guessing that's a pretty specialized type of denture?
It is. All-on-4 is a full arch restoration, so it replaces a whole row of teeth, and it uses dental implants for support.
Mm.
We can get into the specifics a bit later, but the tech and expertise involved, yeah, that definitely contributes to the higher cost.
Got it. So it's safe to say dentures are an investment, not just a quick fix. But let's be real. When most people think of dentures, they think about aesthetics. But there's got to be more to it than just looks, right?
Oh, absolutely. Dentures are about so much more than just appearances. They play a vital role in your overall health and well-being.
Okay, so we're not just talking about flashing a pearly white smile.
Exactly. Think about it. Tooth loss can affect your ability to eat, speak, even maintain proper nutrition. It can lead to digestive problems, self-consciousness, can even impact mental health.
Wow, I never really considered the domino effect tooth loss could have on someone's life. So dentures can actually help prevent some of these issues.
Absolutely. Dentures help restore essential functions that we often take for granted. They let you eat a wider variety of foods, speak clearly, feel more confident in social situations.
So it's not about vanity, it's about regaining a sense of normalcy and improving quality of life.
Exactly. And here's another thing to consider. Studies have shown a link between tooth loss and serious health conditions like diabetes, obesity, even some types of cancer.
Whoa, hold on, cancer. That's a bit scary. Are you saying that taking care of your teeth and considering dentures if necessary could actually help prevent these serious health problems?
There's definitely a connection, and it's something more and more research is pointing to. So yes, taking care of your oral health is about way more than just a pretty smile. It's about protecting your overall health and well-being.
Wow, okay, that's a powerful message. I think we've covered a lot of ground here, wouldn't you say? We've gone from ancient teeth to modern materials, busted some serious myths along the way. I'm definitely seeing dentures in a whole new light.
We've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore, from the practical aspects of wearing dentures to the future of this field. It's really quite fascinating.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to dive even deeper. But for now, we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll tackle all those practical questions you might have about actually wearing and caring for dentures.
All right, denture deep divers, welcome back. In part one, we uncovered that fascinating history of dentures, busted some common myths, and I think we all learned just how widespread tooth loss really is.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising.
Now let's get practical. If you're considering dentures, what are the real-life implications? Like, what's it actually like to wear them?
That's a great question. And, it's one I get a lot. Honestly, there are a lot of misconceptions floating around out there.
Yeah, I bet people often picture those, those clunky, uncomfortable dentures you see in old movies. But denture technology has come a long way.
So no more slipping dentures during a big presentation.
Not if they're done right, no. Today's dentures are made from these lightweight, biocompatible materials, and they're custom fitted to your mouth. They're designed for comfort and functionality.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Definitely not. A skilled prosthodontist, that's a dentist who specializes in dentures, takes really precise measurements and impressions to create dentures that fit snugly and feel natural.
Makes sense. Everyone's mouth is unique, just like fingerprints. But even with a perfect fit, is there an adjustment period?
Absolutely. Think of it like breaking in a new pair of shoes.
Okay.
It takes a little time to get used to the feeling of dentures in your mouth. There might be some initial soreness or a slight lisp, but with practice and patience, most people adapt really well.
So it's not just like popping in a retainer, there's a learning curve involved.
There is, but it's usually a very manageable one. Your prosthodontist will walk you through the entire process, give you tips for cleaning and care, make adjustments as needed. The goal is to make sure your dentures fit comfortable and function properly.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So let's say you've decided dentures are the right choice for you. What happens next?
Well, the first step is always to consult with a dentist or prosthodontist. They'll evaluate your overall oral health, discuss your needs and expectations, and come up with a personalized treatment plan. It's a collaborative process.
So it's a bit more involved than just walking into a dental office and saying, I need dentures.
Definitely. Your dentist needs to assess your unique situation. They'll figure out things like whether you need full dentures, which replace all your teeth, or partials, which replace just a few missing ones.
I think most people associate dentures with replacing all their teeth, but you're saying that's not always the case.
That's right. If you still have some healthy teeth, partial dentures can actually help preserve them and even prevent further tooth loss. They attach to your existing teeth, offering stability and support.
Okay, so that's partials versus full dentures. But what about those implant-supported dentures I keep hearing about? What makes those so different?
Implant-supported dentures are a total game changer. They're anchored to dental implants, these little titanium posts that are surgically inserted into your jawbone.
So the implants act kind of like artificial tooth roots.
Precisely. They give your dentures a super solid foundation, preventing them from slipping or moving around. And this leads to better stability, enhanced chewing ability, and a more natural look and feel.
Wow, that sounds pretty incredible. But I bet there's a catch. They probably cost a fortune, right?
They do typically cost more than traditional dentures, that's true, because of the surgical procedure involved. However, a lot of people find that the benefits far outweigh the added expense. It's kind of like comparing a really sturdy, well-built house to a flimsy one.
Okay, I get the analogy. So whether you go for traditional or implant-supported dentures, what are the big factors that contribute to the overall cost?
Well, as we talked about earlier, the type of denture is a factor. Full dentures usually cost more than partials. Then you have the materials. Higher quality materials generally come with a higher price tag. And of course, the complexity of your specific case matters. If you need other procedures like tooth extractions, that can also increase the overall cost.
Right. So getting a really precise cost estimate really requires sitting down with a dentist and going over your individual needs.
Absolutely. You really shouldn't rely on online price lists. A proper evaluation is super important.
Now let's talk about those bioengineered teeth you mentioned earlier. That still sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, it's pretty wild. But researchers are making some incredible strides in this area. The idea of growing your own teeth from your own cells, that's no longer just a fantasy.
So instead of artificial teeth, we could have like real living teeth that function just like our natural ones.
That's the ultimate goal. It's still experimental, but man, the possibilities are pretty amazing.
Okay, so let's say I'm not quite ready to sign up for experimental tooth growing just yet. What other advancements are there on the horizon for dentures? Anything a bit closer to reality?
Well, 3D printing is already having a huge impact in dentistry. It has the potential to create dentures that are more precise, customized, and also more affordable.
3D printed dentures. Okay, explain that one to me.
It's actually pretty cool. A 3D printer uses digital designs to build your dentures, like layer by layer, using these special materials that really mimic the look and feel of natural teeth.
So it's like a high-tech, super precise way of crafting dentures.
Exactly. And that level of precision leads to a more accurate and comfortable fit, which could reduce the need for adjustments down the line.
Okay, 3D printing, I can get behind that. But I have to ask, are we talking smart dentures anytime soon?
Ooh, you're thinking ahead. Yes, smart dentures are another really exciting area of development. Imagine dentures with sensors that can monitor your oral health and send that info back to you and your dentist.
Hold on, dentures that can, like, track your oral health? What will they think of next?
It's not as crazy as it sounds. These sensors could potentially detect things like early signs of gum disease or tooth decay, letting you know about problems before they become serious. It could even monitor chewing forces and provide feedback on, how well you're brushing.
That would be a game changer for preventative dental care. The future of dentures is looking pretty high-tech, I gotta say. But let's not forget about the people who are relying on dentures right now.
Good point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all these future possibilities, but it's important to remember the impact dentures have on people's lives today. For millions around the world, dentures are a lifeline. They allow them to eat, to speak, to live a full life.
That's such an important point. It's not just aesthetics or convenience, it's really about quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And no matter what advancements come along in the future, that fundamental need will always be there.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the practical aspects of wearing dentures to the, wow, mind-blowing possibilities of bioengineered teeth and smart dentures.
And there's still more to explore.
That's right. In part 3, we're going to shift gears a bit and delve into the social and cultural side of dentures, how they're perceived, how they've been portrayed in media, and what they ultimately say about us as a society.
All right, welcome back to our denture deep dive. We've taken a journey through history, explored the science, tackled the practicalities of wearing dentures. Now, in this final part, let's shift our focus a bit and look at the social and cultural landscape. All the stuff that surrounds dentures.
It's an interesting area, that's for sure. I mean, dentures have been woven into the fabric of society for so long. They've shaped perceptions, influenced trends, even found their way into, art and humor. Yeah, it's true. When you really think about it, dentures have been around for centuries. They must have picked up some baggage along the way. What are some of the social perceptions, the things people think about when they think about dentures?
Well, I think historically, dentures have been associated with aging, with decline.
Yeah.
That classic image of grandma and grandpa taking their teeth out at night.
Yeah, yeah, I can see how that stereotype could lead to some negativity. It's
Yeah.
it's like dentures become this symbol of getting old and losing your vitality.
Exactly. And that perception can be so damaging. It creates this stigma, this feeling of shame, and it prevents some folks from seeking the treatment they need. But as we've talked about throughout this whole deep dive, dentures are used by people of all ages and for so many different reasons. It's not just about old age.
Right, right. So how do we challenge those outdated perceptions? How do we change the way people think about dentures?
I think it starts with education, with open, honest conversations like what we're doing here. We
Yeah.
need to normalize dentures,
Yeah.
talk about the positive impact they can have on people's lives.
I think it's also about recognizing that our smiles are a big part of our identity, and that shouldn't change just because we need a little help, right?
Absolutely. Dentures can help folks regain their confidence, help them feel good about their smiles, no matter their age or circumstances. It's about empowering people to live their lives to the fullest.
For sure, for sure. Now, you mentioned earlier that dentures have also influenced trends. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Sure. Think about the cosmetic dentistry industry, how big it is. You've got teeth whitening, veneers, all these procedures designed to, make our smiles look better.
Oh, I see, I see. So you're saying that dentures, in a way, they paved the way for this focus on cosmetic dentistry, that they kind of helped establish the importance of a healthy, aesthetically pleasing smile.
I think there's definitely a link there. Dentures have been around for so long that they've become a part of the cultural conversation about beauty and appearance. And as technology has advanced, so have the options available to people who want to improve their smiles.
That's really fascinating. It's like dentures have played this behind the scenes role in how we view beauty.
Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned dentures and humor, and I have a feeling we're about to get into some sitcom territory here.
Well, you can't talk about dentures without acknowledging the comedic side of things, right?
Yeah.
Those classic jokes about dentures slipping out at the worst possible moment. I mean, they're part of our culture.
Yeah, yeah, I'll admit some of those jokes are pretty funny, but I can also see how they might contribute to the negative stereotypes we've been talking about.
For sure. Humor. It can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It can be a way to destigmatize a topic, but it can also reinforce those harmful stereotypes.
Yeah.
It all depends on the context and the intention behind it.
Right, right. So how do we find that balance? How do we use humor in a way that's both entertaining and respectful?
I think it comes down to being mindful of the message we're putting out there. If the humor is at the expense of people who wear dentures, well, then it's not funny. It's just mean.
Yeah.
But if the humor comes from a place of understanding and empathy, well, then it can be a powerful tool for connection, for acceptance.
Yeah, I love that. Using humor to build bridges instead of walls. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your final thoughts on dentures and their role in society?
For me, it's about embracing the complexity of it all. Dentures they're more than just teeth. They're a symbol of resilience, of innovation, of the human desire to overcome challenges and live a fulfilling life.
That's beautifully said. I mean, we've come a long way from those early dentures made from animal teeth to the high-tech possibilities of the future. And through it all, dentures they've been a constant, they've helped people regain their smiles, their confidence.
Absolutely. And as we keep pushing forward, keep exploring new frontiers in dentistry,
Mm.
I have no doubt that dentures will continue to evolve and play an important role in all our lives.
Well, denture deep divers, we've reached the end of our journey, and I really hope you've enjoyed this exploration as much as we have. We've uncovered the history, the science, the social impact, even caught a glimpse of the future of dentures. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty enlightened right now.
And remember, dentures are more than just teeth. They're a testament to human ingenuity and our constant desire to live healthy, fulfilling lives.
And on that note, we'll bid you farewell. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep smiling, whether your pearly whites are natural or not.